Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. This is Nathan Daley and I'm your law enforcement translator here to provide insight on these difficult current event topics that are impacting our community, the nation, just drama in general. You guys, listen, we are talking about the incident, of course, we know in Buffalo, New York. As this thing unfolds, you guys, I'm going to keep you guys updated, but more importantly, there's a couple issues I have and I'm a little frustrated. I'm going to try to keep again, on this channel, I do facts over feelings. I'm gonna take my feelings out of it, but it's very difficult, And so before I get into that, let me shout out to those watching, shout out to my members, shout out to my subscribers, you guys. Thank you for your support. And listen, this is a difficult time, especially for this country, more importantly for the Black community. There's a lot we need to discuss. There's a lot of things that need to be addressed. And this particular, you guys, this is a news clip in reference to them indicting the suspect who committed this heinous, evil act of white supremacy, this pure, wicked intentions on destroying this community, destroying these 10 lives, these 10 families, and overall this community and this nation, you guys. Listen, we got to discuss this because this is a problem. This is absolutely a problem. But before I get into my rant, I want to play this clip and then we're going to get into it, you guys.
In Buffalo, a grand jury has indicted the suspect in the racist killing of 10 black people at a supermarket there. Peyton Gendron appeared in court yesterday for a short hearing attended by some relatives of the victims. Drika Duncan was also there at the court. Drika, good morning.
Good morning. It couldn't have been easy for the victim's family in that courtroom yesterday. As for Gendron, he remains behind bars this morning, being held without bail after pleading not guilty. And, we've been here all week, Tony, Gail, and Nate, and for a lot of these families.
First of all, let me say this. You should not be able to plead not guilty when all the evidence supports that you actually committed the crime, you live streamed it, we know you did it, you were caught red-handed. I feel like this is one of the biggest problems with our court system. Why is a person allowed to plead not guilty when you know for a fact they are guilty? I think this is a way we can streamline this criminal justice process, right? He's absolutely guilty. He should not be allowed to even enter a plea of not guilty. It's completely ludicrous. We should be fast forwarding this thing and getting right into the conviction, right into the charges, and then going from there. It should be more so like, what should your sentencing be, right? And I don't believe they have the death penalty in New York, but I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna be completely honest, you guys. I believe, and I might be a little radical. I'm a little radical. Honestly, my personal opinion, I believe that the family should be able to decide what his punishment is. And again, listen, I can be a little radical. I'm a big fan of the code of Hammurabi, right? So eye for an eye. Listen, what would this, let me not say that. Let's just say this. I believe the family should have their way with him outside of court. They should decide. And, where the chips lie, the chips lie. And this is such a disturbing situation. And again, I think that there's something to say about the upbringing, something to say about what his household is like, parents, what type of seeds were planted, and overall his indoctrination online and these hidden organizations, these hidden racist organizations that do exist in our country, and it is thriving, and there are people involved into these organizations, and they are plotting and planning things of this nature in our country. And so this is something that cannot be ignored, and obviously they are reaching a lot of these young minds, these impressionable minds. Regardless of what he thought he knew, he's a complete idiot, and he's evil. And I do believe his parents had something to do with his mentality that led him down this rabbit hole. So anyways, let's get back into this video.
Families that we've spoken to, the question is not about why this happened. Their question is to white supremacists: why do you hate us so much?
We just want to live in peace. My grandchildren are here, her great-grandchildren, my children. I'm scared for them.
Family members of the 10 people massacred at a Buffalo supermarket called on the country to confront and stop racist violence.
That racist young man took my mother away. She was my best friend. What am I to do? What am I supposed to do now?
The eldest daughter of 86-year-old victim Ruth Whitfield struggled for words. The night of the shooting, they were supposed to see a musical together.
I need this violence to stop. We need to fix this, and we need to fix it now.
12-year-old Jake Patterson, who lost his father, Hayward Patterson, kept his face covered with his hands as his mother described how he's now having trouble eating and sleeping.
As a mother, what am I supposed to do to help him get through this? I need a village to help me raise and be here for my son because he has no father.
Thursday morning, the accused gunman, 18-year-old Peyton Gendron,
they said, why do you hate us so much? Why? Why are black people hated by white supremacists so much, or some white people, or just people in general? You guys, some would argue it's jealousy. Some would argue it's envy. Some would argue that some people are just evil and they hate to see others doing better than them. You know, when I remember reading the manifesto, he had a lot of false information that he was leaning a lot of his ideologies on. Sick, twisted, as if black people are the reason why his life is so bad, quote unquote, because obviously he has both parents. His parents are very successful. He doesn't want, obviously, or need for anything, but yet still found it in his heart to come out of his home, travel hours to go to Buffalo, New York, into a black community and wreak havoc there. You guys, what's very interesting is black people really don't do things like this, right? We don't purposely galvanize ourselves and create these black supremacist groups and then go and infiltrate into white communities and start slaughtering white people because of what happened 400 years ago, right? You don't hear black people doing those things. Now, are there black mass shooters? Yes, right? But are black people going into white communities with the intent of mass killing them for the sake of saying, hey, this is revenge for slavery. This is revenge for Jim Crow, black codes. This is revenge for all the bodies that were hung on trees. This is revenge for babies thrown and fed to alligators. This is revenge for people who've died in burning homes. This is revenge for all the slaughtering that the KKK have done. I honestly, for the life of me, I don't really understand why white supremacists have an issue with black people. Why, again, you hear them talk, you hear some KKK members talk, and they say, we just want to be separate. We want to be left alone. We don't want you messing with our women, right? Okay, I get it. Why do they hate black people so much? So much. It's very disturbing. And obviously in his manifesto, he's saying it's not just black people, it's immigrants, right? It's foreigners in general. And we want to, our race, a white race is dying out. And again, Europe will take you back, right? You're more than welcome to go back to Europe. Those who really hate it, right? If you're a white supremacist and you feel like, your numbers are dwindling, you can go back to Europe and make more white lives and increase yourself that way. Leave the white people here who are not racist, the black people here who are not racist. Leave us alone, right? This is not your country, right? Let's just be real. It's not your country. You too are a immigrant. You too are a foreigner. You came and you took this land. It didn't belong to you. Listen, you guys, we know the history. Why do white supremacists act like they own everything? Where's this entitlement coming from? Again, you don't see black people doing these things. You just don't. Not in white community. I have to this day, and if I'm mistaken, please somebody send it to me. But we don't go into white churches. and slaughter people in the church and say this is because of black supremacy. It's almost like black people don't even think like that. Again, what did they say? Can we just be left alone? Why? Well, I just don't understand. And more than likely, it's not meant for us to understand the evil nature of some people. You just can't. You just can't make sense of it. But a lot of this angers me, and I'm going to tell you why. What does this mean? This is the perfect time for the black community to galvanize themselves properly, make sure people are getting proper training with firearms. People, we need to be protected, right? You need to exercise your Second Amendment right to bear arms. We're not going to be able to stop crazy people from being born. Someone is raising the next mass shooter in their home as we speak, and they don't know it. These kids, these crazy, evil, wicked people are being born under somebody's roof every single year. There's no way around it. You know, all we can do as a nation, as a community, is make sure that you're prepared, you're aware, you're always aware of your surroundings. The moment you step out the house, even when you're in your house, even when you're out at the grocery store, the movies, church, apparently nowhere is safe in this country. You guys, but listen, you know what bothers me, and this is what pisses me off. Let me finish this before I go into this. Let's finish this before I go into
Made a brief court appearance. He's been charged with murder in the first degree, and prosecutors say he could face hate crime and domestic terrorism charges.
Hey, you're a coward.
Jerome Wright is a deacon at a local church who has been offering support to the grieving families. He says meaningful change goes beyond getting justice for Saturday's attack.
This community is hurting and grieving and mourning. And though the gunman may have been apprehended, the killer, white supremacy, institutional and internalized racism is still on the loose.
And today is that first funeral for Hayward Patterson. As for this grocery store behind me, we're told that it will reopen. The president of TOP said that yesterday at a news conference. As for when that will happen, they don't have an actual timeline for that. Gail?
When is the grocery store opening? Here's my thing on the grocery store. Who want to go back to that grocery store? At this point, the grocery store would do better to turn itself into a center, a memorial center honoring those who lost their life. I would use that, turn it into a rec center in order to, one, educate the people in that community on how to protect themselves. I would do all type of classes. I would turn that rec center, I would turn that grocery store into a rec center and use it to really bring about love, peace, and unity back to that community. I would rebuild a new grocery store, to be honest. There's absolutely no way I would reopen that grocery store. I just couldn't. In my mind, I absolutely couldn't. I'm curious to know what you guys think. Would you go back to that grocery store? Now, here's the thing, though. I will say this. And I'm going to say it. And we all know Black Lives Matter. Listen, we know what it is at this point. You know, I told you guys when I first started my channel that I did not support that organization. I was all for the idea, the movement, but the organization was corrupt. And I said this from the very beginning, you guys. You know, I took a lot of heat for it. But those who knew, and those who understood. And we are seeing it unfold in real time. But what if Black Lives Matter was exactly what they said they were? What if they were exactly what the title of their organization represented? You guys, it would be a beautiful organization and a beautiful tool and resource for the Black community for events like this. What could they have done with the $90 million they accumulated on the backs of dead Black men and women? Well, one, they could ensure, right, because that is a wealth of resources that the Black community has put money into, corporations that put money into to support Black lives, to show that Black lives do matter. What could they have done, you guys? They could, one, start immediately building a new grocery store for that community, because now that community doesn't have access to food, right? That one act of evil has turned that entire community into a food desert. Now, one would argue that why does this community not have any other grocery stores? You guys, listen, welcome to some areas in the Black community. It's extremely, extremely unfortunate, but these are the things that the community complains about all the time. Listen, who else is accountable for this? Man, these politicians, these local politicians are not on their job, right? They're not on their job. If Black Lives Matter was the organization that they should be, they would swoop in, you guys, immediately and make sure that, one, those funeral services and resources needed for those families are taken care of, and make sure they don't have to spend a dime because of this horrific incident. They shouldn't have to spend any money at all. All their needs should be taken care of, every last one of them, through the money that was, of course, accumulated. What else? They could build a new grocery store. They could make sure that people are getting access to food, right? And I'm pretty sure that you're going to have stores and locations that are going to give food to the community to ensure that they have everything they need, right? And so I don't know what the population size is or how many people use that store, but this was a perfect opportunity for Black Lives Matter to stand up and say something. Listen, where's Tamika Mallory? Where is she? You know, these activists really kill me. They really, really kill me, because I'm going to tell you what the issue is that I have. That some people only see value in speaking out and doing activism when it's the death of a Black person by the hand of a white police officer. They don't show up, you guys, when there's a death of a Black man by a Black police officer. You guys, I've seen it in real time, right? It doesn't fit their narrative. We're all these activists. They always say so much. They always speak so loud when it's convenient for them, when there's a check involved for them to receive. You guys, listen, there's no money for them to get behind this act. This act of evil does not put money in anybody's pocket. There's nobody to sue, you guys. You see what I'm saying? There's nobody to sue. And if there's nobody to sue, they're not going to pursue this issue. Where is it? You have this sick, evil individual went on a killing spree, slaughtered 10 Black lives in a matter of seconds. Where are all these? Why does it? I don't get it. Please, can someone explain it to me? Why isn't Black Lives? Look at what Patrice's name? Listen, I couldn't even do a video on that nonsense. Listen, I'm gonna let Candace Owens handle her business. She's doing a great job at it. You guys, listen, she warned the entire community about the foolishness of Black Lives Matter, and people were dismissing her, calling her names. You know, it's so disappointing. But I will say this, though. I will say this. If we don't get it together, you guys, another organization will arise and do the exact same thing. The exact same thing. You know, Black Lives Matter was the ultimate Trojan horse. The ultimate Trojan horse. Now, all that money, we can't even access it. We can't tap into it to actually help and do positive things in our communities, especially when something on this magnitude has happened. They should be the first ones jumping in. No one is mentioning Black Lives Matter. This is weird to me. Patrice should be like, hey, to save face, listen, they already got me, y'all. They know I spent about $20 million on myself. Hey, at least drop $1 million over in that community so we can, right, buffer this drama that's about to unfold. Where's all the money at? Where's all the money at? This pisses me off. You know, and I try not to talk about certain things like this, you guys, but listen, when you know, you know. And again, I've seen it in real time. You know, again, it's all about their own agenda. You know, it's all about who's funding that organization, who's actually in charge of that organization. It's a joke, man. It's a joke. And I don't know. Listen, I don't want to go on too long. What are your thoughts on this, you guys? What are your thoughts? Where are all the activists at? Shout out to those who were on scene. Shout out to Angela Stanton King. She was down there doing her thing as always. Shout out to her, always pushing the message, always pushing the voice of truth. And, she went out there in real time and was handling business. And so, again, we got to galvanize ourselves properly, educate ourselves on our Second Amendment. Stop being afraid of owning a firearm. It's your constitutional right. You guys, we need to be walking around strapped. I say do it. There's nothing wrong with it, you guys. We need to start changing some things. We need to have different conversations. We need to start talking about emergency planning, how to respond to an active shooter situation. What do you do? How do you respond? How do you act? Where do you go? Always being alert and aware of our surroundings, you guys. Listen, this is going to be the new reality. I promise you, he's not going to be the last. There are more people lying in wait just like him, part of these little secret organizations that are splintered all across this country. And I promise you, this is not going to be the last. So listen, we need to have a new conversation within the Black community. The conversation needs to start shifting from not just protecting ourselves, but protecting ourselves in public, right? What do you do? How do you handle yourself? And I think this is important, you guys. Emergency planning, food storage, you guys, listen, there's so much going on in this country, right? Inflation, look, baby formula, Biden sending billions of dollars overseas to Ukraine. And again, here in this country, we have people suffering. They can't get baby formula. People are homeless. Again, it's if you're not prepared, you're going to be caught off guard. And if you're caught off guard, you guys, you're out of here. So we need to start having some real difficult and tough conversations. I'm going to start having them on my channel, especially about emergency planning. So please ask away. Let me know your thoughts, you guys. And with that, good night. God bless.